Thank you, everyone, for stopping by Tully Television today. My name is Bart, and we're welcoming our co-host, Eternally Grateful Seas. Thank you so much for stopping by. You want to give us a hello?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be back on the Tully Television Show.
It's certainly great to have you back, Eternally Grateful Seas.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be back.
You are always welcomed, and I'm going to leave Eternally Grateful She's link to her YouTube channel down below. Go give her a check out. Some great content there. And I'll also link her Instagram account to check that out as well. And if you're interested in her stuff, give her a follow and all that beautiful stuff. But today, we're going to be doing some highlights from the WrestleMania weekend that we just had. And
Yes.
now the first night we had our friend over and we certainly had some fun there. That's why I didn't live stream that night. And
Yes, and it was very nice that he came over and he brought his son with him, and it was a great time for everyone.
it was a great time. And then the second night I was just kind of so WrestleMania hungover that I didn't live stream that night either, but we figured we'd do this little highlight reel, some up points and down points that we may or may not have liked. And what about you there, Eternally Grateful Seas? What was some of your favorite moments from WrestleMania weekend?
Oh, well, definitely the Stone Cold with Vince McMahon. I mean, that was
Yeah,
probably like a lot of people's favorite. It was just so great to see Stone Cold after so many years, 19 years.
yeah,
And it was great to see Vince in the ring with him. And it was just something that I think we really needed to see as
yeah.
wrestling fans. I think it was definitely needed, and it brought a lot of people joy and happiness and laughter, and we need that right now with these unprecedented times that we're still living in. So it brought a lot of goodness, and it was definitely something we needed.
I certainly agree. I certainly agree there, Eternally Grateful. Um, as for those of you who may not have seen that segment, the match started off with Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee won that. And then Vince McMahon felt a little like his good old days and wanted to come in and kick Pat's ass. And granted, Vince McMahon and Stone Cold are not men they once were physically, and maybe we can tell that some of their moves are old manish, but I think, like you said, for the most part, people were willing to overlook that and bypass that because it is going to be one of the last times probably some of these younger guys are going to be in the ring with Stone Cold or Vince, and they can have that attache, so to speak, of I was the last one in the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Or I was the last one in the ring with Vince McMahon. And maybe it was not as it was during the Attitude Era where, Stone Cold is just going to town on everyone, but he did very well after 19 years of surgeries and retiring. And I think Vince did well too, considering he's 76 years old. You know, again, I don't think people were looking for a technical masterpiece, where, every move was boom, 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 boom. And we knew what we're gonna kind of be getting, two older guys who can't move as well as they used to. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it brought a lot of people joy. I think it brought a lot of people happiness, smiles. And I hope that even Vince McMahon and Stone Cold later like when they were talking, or at least man, like that's basically an end of an era that people will never get to see that again really too much,
Mm.
if at all. I can't really think of too many more instances where Stone
Well,
Cold,
when he had Vince McMahon, when he had his No Chance song,
yeah.
right? It's basically going to be that it's no chance now that he's going to wrestle anymore after he got the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, yeah, I think that, I mean, because that looked a little iffy at one point when Stone Cold was trying to give him the stunner.
Yeah,
You can
because
you can tell the timing was a little off and stuff, but again, I think most people are willing to just bypass it because, Vince is 76 years old again,
I just can't believe how old he is.
and we talked about it that his mother lived into 100.
Yeah,
She
that's
was
pretty
pretty
wild.
active near the end of her life. Maybe not the last year or whatever of her life, but she was still playing tennis all the way up until the last few years of her life.
Wow,
So, she was still trying to, be active, and Vince is still trying to be active. And
that's amazing.
I think that the environment he grew up in and stuff, that fitness was a big part of his life and
Right,
continues to be a big part of his life, and seems to be a big part of his children's life and his grandchildren's life, because I have yet to meet an out of shape McMahon. Even Vince's father, who started the business, seemed to be in shape as well.
right.
So I have yet to see any of the McMahons carrying a beer gut around. So, you know, um, and it was good to see Stone Cold fight Kevin Owens the night before. That's why
Right,
maybe,
that was also very great match and everything, and
and it
I
was a
like
bigger
that.
surprise for him to come out. That's why it was such a great surprise to see him come out the second night, because we thought
Yeah,
he was just going to do the Kevin Owens thing and just
right,
the last
right. That
time,
was
be like, bye
nice.
bye, guys.
Surprise.
But it was a nice little surprise at the end for one last confrontation between
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold and Vince, because that was a big storyline for years, and a lot
Was.
of great moments where Stone Cold giving him stunners, or Stone Cold giving him a beer bath from the beer truck, or hitting Vince McMahon in the head with a bedpan from the hospital when Vince was in the hospital. Like there's so many great points
Right.
that you can pick from Stone Cold and the Vince McMahon story, and to have it one last hoorah, as we call it on this side, one last hoorah, one last rodeo with someone. And it's kind of like how we talked about Vince and Undertaker, where, they bought each other millions of dollars in. So it's kind of hard not to have some sort of loyalty to each other. It's hard not to kind of want to be like, yeah, all right, I'll do that for you. Because you look back and yes, you get a lot of jumping around on your body, on your back, on your knees, and you become an old man before you become an old man. And the way they used to wrestle back in the day, they'd bang their head a lot around,
Hmm.
so you can look around your life, right? If you were wise with your money all those years and not letting the fast life get to you, you can have a nice home and you can have a nice bank account and nice stuff around it and be like, man, my knees may be shot, but I got a nice lazy boy here, or my knees may be shot, but my wife has a nice car to get her back and forth to things that she likes to do. That's what it's all about. And I don't care what anyone says about professional wrestling. I love it. For all the goofiness, for all the stuff with it. I just love it, and I'll always love it, even to the day I die.
Well, what did you think of Seth Rollins attire for that night?
Oh man, well, I am a big Seth Rollins fan. I love
You are.
I love that he calls himself the drip god because that's like the new way of saying that I look great and stuff like that. The drip. And I'm a big fan of his suits and everything like that. I love the floral patterns. I love the different colors. I love the different styles. But I will say that this weekend, it did look like he took a piece of, like he took the outfit that he wore from his wife's closet. And I wonder if that was meant to go on Becky Lynch instead of Seth
And
Rollins.
it was like lingerie, like
It
it was
almost
like
was like a
lace.
lingerie, like a fancy lingerie piece, and
Maybe it was like lingerie piece for a man. I don't know.
excuse me, I don't know,
Mhm.
but I wasn't too big of a fan of the actual
It was
outfit,
kind of
and
like it was
I
kind of like
kind
a
of like those,
it was
like
kind of like a Ric Flair type of.
yeah, he tried to. Ric Flair, I think, was definitely the inspiration for it because of the like feathery boa
Yeah,
trim
yeah,
around it.
yeah.
But
It was a twist between Becky and Flair's costumes.
yeah, and to be honest, like I said, if I could carry, if I can get dedicated and losing my weight the way I want to, I would wear those type of suits if I can afford them because I like
Well, just
those in,
remember that you will be disowned by a friend.
all right. My friend said you'd disown me if I ever wore that.
He
Uh,
said maybe Halloween.
maybe
Maybe
Halloween, so I might
Halloween.
lose a friend. I don't want to do that. But
No.
the match he had with Cody Rhodes coming back was a great match, and it's great to see Cody Rhodes back
Oh yeah, that was great.
as the American Nightmare, being that his father was known as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. You know, he's the American Nightmare,
Yes,
Cody
yes,
Rhodes. So,
yes.
clever
That was
take
good.
on the father's name, and I'm excited what they're going to do for Cody because I'm also a fan of Cody, and he made himself a big name while he was away from WWE the last 6 years. So I'd like to see how that's going to play out for him. And even though Seth Rollins took the loss, he's such a good worker and such a great character guy that even losing, he doesn't really lose because fans are still cheering for him. Fans are still booing him in the right way. Um,
Yes.
he does invoke emotion in the way he's trying to manipulate the crowd, and it comes out well the way he does it. I think he's a clever guy and one of the harder workers. Sometimes I think he says some silly stuff in his real life, but who hasn't said silly stuff or whatever? But yeah, I love Seth Rollins. I love Seth Rollins' wardrobe generally, but yeah, that was a thumbs down for me. Thumbs down for me. And I just want to say another pleasant surprise I had in the show. And this is coming a lot for me because this man and his brother I can't stand on social media. Logan Paul. Logan Paul and his brother
I
Jake
was surprised at that
Paul. Brought Logan and
because even Jake is has been getting into the boxing, and I watched with Noah a few months ago. If you remember, him and I stayed up late till it was like 1 o'clock in the morning watching
that fight.
Jake Paul do his boxing match.
Right. And Logan Paul here, I'm very pleasantly surprised, even though I'm not a big fan of his. I'm pleasantly surprised that he took it seriously,
Hmm.
that he trained, it looks like he did do some training for this.
Yeah.
So that that alone, I'll give him credit for, because I wasn't thinking he was going to take this serious.
Maybe I can
All right.
get Logan Paul to knock that cough out of you.
Maybe he can give me a nice chop across the chest and have it come right out. No, but yeah, very pleasantly surprised at Logan Paul. And what about you? You have any other
Oh
highlights?
yeah, I was surprised at Logan Paul. And yeah, he's a great he's got a good athleticism.
Yes,
And so does Jake. So that's surprising in a way, because I just thought they were just too
like boneheads.
yeah, that just do YouTube or something, like I didn't really, I guess, realize that they're really into the whole athletic stuff, and that's cool. So yeah, so I really like that. And I mean, I think that this was the better WrestleManias that I've seen in years.
Yeah, I will
Was
definitely agree there. I think that this has been the best WrestleMania in the last 4 or 5 years at least. Um, Especially with the empty arenas that were going on at one point and
Well,
COVID.
I did like also seeing Ronda Rousey, and I did enjoy her at the WrestleMania that we watched back in, I believe it was 2018, if I'm
Yes,
correct.
yes, yes. I actually love Ronda Rousey. I think she also was someone else who came into the business taking it very seriously
Yes,
and understanding how to try to do a match, because doing UFC obviously is way different than doing WWE.
yes,
Uh, in UFC, you're legitimately trying to hurt someone.
right,
When in WWE, you're trying to make it look like you're hurting someone without hurting them. And
right.
that can be a hard transition to remember, to go from like rabid dog mode to, oh, wait, no, this is not one of those scenarios.
Right. I wonder,
I'm
like,
only supposed to look like I'm a rabid dog. I'm not supposed to act like
I wonder how her retraining of her brain, because you got to retrain if you think about it, your mind and
yeah.
stuff like that.
To be able to pull
So,
yourself back from the last moment to really remember not to snap that arm or to not snap that ankle. In the adrenaline and the heat of it, it could be an understandable accident, because there's a lot of accidents that do happen. Could be a millimeter of a certain turn wrong or releasing you at the wrong time, and boom, you're either paralyzed, dead, or barely just got away with a minor injury. And people have to realize
you
that,
mean a major injury?
right, where you can go in there, you're not only going in there trying to protect yourself, you have to protect your opponent. Because if
Right,
you don't know how to protect your opponent, then no one is going to want to hire you in
right,
wrestling matches. You're just known as someone who hurts people.
right.
And if that's what you want to do, then join UFC, join a cage fighting thing or whatever like that. Then wrestling is not going to be for you if you want to intentionally and purposely hurt people. But as far as her match with Charlotte Flair this year, I'm a little disappointed she lost. I thought she was going to win. But yes, Charlotte Flair won. And as much as I love Charlotte Flair, I think Ronda should have won this one. But uh, yeah, hopefully there'll be another opportunity for her. Sorry, guys, dry throat. I do apologize for the coughing.
Well, I
But
think we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes anyway.
all right, yeah. The last thing I want to I just want to point out that I liked the AJ and Edge match, but a little disappointed it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. But anything from those two are a great match.
Yeah, yeah, anything from these guys from the past, like, Stone Cold Edge, I
Yeah,
mean, it's gonna be sad not seeing some of these guys,
yeah, because Edge might be the
future.
next one in the next few years having to
Right.
do it, retire officially. The last one I want to touch on, that affected me the most was Triple H retiring officially, coming out to the crowd,
And the Undertaker too, with
and the
all that.
Undertaker Hall of Fame thing.
Again, we're going to be losing quite a few of these guys that really, it almost makes you wonder what the future may hold for wrestling,
Because there's not many people left that
No,
have the drawing power of a Triple H. Like,
no.
oh, Triple H is gonna, I have to buy a ticket for that. The Undertaker's
It
gonna
was
do that.
like
I
it
have to
was
buy a
like
ticket to that.
77,000, 75,000 people there those
Right.
nights, those two
And in
nights.
10 years, I don't know. I mean, hopefully Roman Reigns and other people that are currently in the WWE will have that same power of their name. But like I
Only
don't think,
time will tell with that, though.
like, the last one that has any chance of coming back and really bringing people back in the seats, and I don't ever see this happening, is The Rock.
Mm,
But he's so well paid by Hollywood, and
yeah,
that he may even be forbidden by movie studios to even go do that. Because
right. I don't know.
when he first was doing movies, like before he became really big, he got hurt in a wrestling match and it had to put the movie on hold for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So that was like, I think that, they might tell him, like, you can't be
Mm,
doing that as your contract with us, because that's like in
right.
baseball or football. You can't really be doing certain things
Mhm.
as a professional athlete. They don't want you skydiving. They don't want you driving a motorcycle. They don't want you doing shit that can fuck your hands up, fuck your legs up. So, there's all these things that you can do to yourself, and that's probably the rationale behind The Rock not really coming back and doing wrestling matches like that
Well,
anymore.
I'm hoping they still bring and I don't mean The Rock, but maybe one of the two of these other guys here and there to keep the show's momentum going, So
Right.
I'll be looking forward to hopefully seeing that in the future. And I want to
Hopefully.
thank you for having me on the show.
I want to thank you for coming on, and definitely we need to do it again. And
Yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for stopping by. Again, check out Eternally Grateful Seas channel down below in the description box. And until next time, peace, Nookums.